We have two weekly coaching calls in the Moneyball trading program. Wednesday is our trade review meeting, and Sunday is our weekly prep meeting. And I'm here to share with you the Sunday meeting of us going over my watch list for the week, how I scan the markets, what should be on your watch list, how to properly trade the markets, and so much more. This is a fantastic meeting. I've uploaded a video like this in the past that I will also have in the description below for you guys to check out. I appreciate the like, subscribe, and if you guys have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me on social media at Moneyball Austin. And then you guys can also look into joining the Moneyball Trading program by heading over to moneyballtrading.com. That will be in the description below, where we are helping traders become consistently profitable in 90 days or less. There you can also get your free ebook on the supply and demand trading strategy. So I'd love to have you part of the team. All that information will be in the description below. I'll see you guys on the other side.
All right, really quickly, let's start by looking at the news this week. It is very important to have a look at this every single week. You know, I personally don't recommend that entering any positions 5 minutes before or 5 minutes after. Just stay away from the news completely. The amount of people that reach out to me saying they blow their account because they're trading around the news is ridiculous. So just make sure you have a quick look at what times these are coming out. These are Pacific Standard Time. So just make sure you do your own research on the time zones about what time they're coming out. But this week so far, Tuesday, CPI numbers coming out for the Canadian, but the main news doesn't come out until Wednesday, Thursday. That's going to be the USD Fed rates, followed by the Swiss rates, and the pound rates are all coming out Wednesday, Thursday. So there's going to be, it's not necessarily the number that's jumping out. It's going to be what they're saying in the press conference, Jerome Powell. You know, a couple of years ago, like a year and a half ago, they were always saying there is no inflation. Then he says inflation is temporary. A little bit of inflation is good. Okay, we might have a problem with inflation. So projected to keep it the same. It's really going to be interesting to see what he has to say, if they're going to increase them one more time before the end of the year, which they probably are, but they're really going to be listening to what he has to say. That's really going to move the market. You're going to get a spike up right during the news announcement of what the numbers are, but then you're going to get that whipsaw event coming in with the press conference, and that's going to go both ways for the Swiss and the pound news. So just stay on the sidelines for that. All right, that's what I recommend, but it's definitely going to create new levels of opportunity. So just be aware of what's coming out. Okay, and then Friday, we got PMI coming out during the London session. So lots of news coming out. Do you guys have any questions on that?
It seems like a busy week, man.
Yes, seems like a busy week. About time. Market's been kind of slow lately. So hopefully this will spice up the dollar moves, and especially with the dollar, because we've been waiting for this thing to pop off. We look at the euro for the last weekly time frame. We'll kind of go through weekly, 4-hour, and daily zones. We'll just kind of get a general outlook, and we're just going to be drawing out areas of interest, basically, we'll call it, of potential opportunities that we might see buyers or sellers come in, and areas that, in my opinion, that where you probably should be looking for buys or sells. Okay, so euro, I definitely like this area. Euro USD, this is going to be the same for the dollar. We're going to have a look at the dollar pairs, and you're going to see it's all kind of the same levels. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks now. Originally, we had this little weekly area of rally-based rally demand. Since then, it's been removed. And right now, we're at the very extreme of this area of weekly demand. So we got news coming out. It's going to be interesting to see how this zone holds up. Will we get the reversal coming in with the Fed rates coming out? We'll see. But with it currently inside weekly demand, swing traders waiting for that confirmation to come in. Okay, we haven't really had any of that. So right now for swing traders, that's kind of the evidence of buyers you're waiting to really step in. Okay, you're waiting for these big rally up. You kind of want to see this whole area of pivot point zone being removed, this whole area of supply on the 4-hour time frame, and that downward trend line being broken. That will then tell me, okay, there might be a swing long position. And if not, then I definitely would potentially see this thing going higher and higher. So that's when we can start jumping into the trend, sorry. Okay, but till then, for day trades, this was a potential not a short-term swing trade, not a short-term trade, but I get some people might see this as a swing trade short, but because of its location inside weekly demand, I'm not a big fan of selling this whole 4-hour zone straight up. I think it's a great zone, but I think it's a good zone that we could use for instead day trades for multiple time frame analysis setup, right? This 4-hour supply, very nice rally base drop, right? Rally base, base, base. We got this whole base up here with a very nice imbalance to the downside. It's also in a downtrend. Okay. I really like this 4-hour supply to use for day trades once prices pull back up into this area of 4-hour supply to potentially look for day trade shorts. It's not something I would recommend swing shorting just because of the location of where we are on the weekly time frame. We go to the weekly, we're sitting embedded inside that weekly demand. So you know how I feel about sitting in opposing zones. But for day trades, it's going to remain the same. Try to join this trend in a downtrend for day trades. But for swing trades, we're really waiting to see the buyer step in, okay? And you know what? For other day trades, these are nice little zones right here. You know, for the new guys, if there's something I really want you guys to pinpoint out and get from this is look at the zones that I'm drawing out and notice what they all have in common. They'll have extremely strong imbalances, removing opposing zones, maybe even breaking trend lines, right? But I'm circling the origin of where the imbalance started from, of the base. You guys understand that? You guys understand everything I just said for the last 2 minutes?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Yeah, definitely. If we look at the 1 hour, like there's definitely some probably 1 hour, 30 minutes for like scalping in. But in 24 hours from now, these zones are going to be irrelevant. So we'll try to keep it relevant for the next week, at least for the next couple of days. So those zones, but you know, you could definitely do the same thing on 1 hour or 30-minute time frames, but then you're looking at like 1 minute time frame for entries. Okay, I like it for like day trades. If we see this thing going up to the upside, going back up into this area of supply, then I see nothing wrong with looking for buying opportunities as it's trending to the upside on 1 minute time frames. You guys understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can start, you know, making those higher highs, which we have been right now, until we get up into there, yeah, I think some scalps to the upside is totally fine. Okay, if you got room to go, that's great because I don't really see any area holding up price until we hit this area up here. Okay. Okay, pound USD, it's going to be basically the same. We look at the weekly. You'll notice it's inside the weekly demand right here. So for swing traders, you like the location. You just got to wait for the buyers to really step in. And then for the day traders, same thing. If we can get pullbacks into these areas of supply, they're great little areas for multiple time frame analysis shorts and maybe even here on a 1 hour. Okay. Notice all have strong imbalances. Okay. And obviously we have some type of supply up here as well. But till then, we got to get through these areas of supply first. As for confirmation, you're just waiting for the, you know, at this point, 4 hour or 1 hour momentum lines to be broken, opposing these supply zones being removed, and hopefully there's a quality zone being created for that pullback demand zone. We look at the Aussie USD. This is the last area for day trades that I really like. Nice little 4 hour supply, really, really good imbalance to the downside. I like something like that. I think that's still fine. Maybe if it plays up a little bit more into that higher time frame 4 hour supply zone for some day trade shorts. But even for the downside, like I don't really see any demand. The only demand that I kind of like in this general realm, it's not the greatest, would be that area. You know, it didn't really remove an opposing zone, but it has a nice imbalance, and we can clearly see buyers did step in. At one time, this was a big black candle to the downside. It touched it and started going up. So, hey, that is the next tested zone. Till then, if we can actually remove this area right here where it's sitting at, I like it for shorts to the downside. Oops, I'm on the wrong tool. Shorts to the downside. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right. For anybody looking at those day trades, I think that's fine. As for the swing trade, I don't really like this weekly, to be honest. I think we have some type of weekly demand in here. But how I'm drawing this out is kind of this area down here, kind of that bottom half of the daily from way back here. That's kind of the area of demand. Okay. New Zealand's going to be basically the same. We look at that 4-hour zone. You're going to notice these same 4-hour zones right there. Same analysis. At least this one has started to remove these areas like right here. These little areas of probably 1-hour pivot points here. Like if we go down to a 1-hour, 30-minute time frame. Yeah. All right, so we started removing that. That's what I would like to see. Then you could start looking for shorts to the downside. So that's what I mean for Aussie USD, right? So New Zealand USD has already done it. Aussie is kind of lagging behind. So let's have a quick look. Same thing, that 4-hour supply that I drew is still valid for shorts as well. USD yen weekly, it is sitting inside the weekly supply, okay? It is in an uptrend, so any shorts are going to be counter trend. Keep an eye on 4-hour time frame in here. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, waiting for the confirmation. Okay. Till then, I think this is the last area I think I mentioned. 2 areas probably. Number 1 was here, maybe. Probably said somewhere up there on a 1-hour or 30-minute. That would make sense for me. And then the second one was right up there for that rally-based drop, really tight zone gap. Okay. Till then, we're kind of waiting for new sellers to step in for those swing shorts. For the day traders, I still like this for long opportunities, for one time frame longs, or if you want to wait for pullbacks into 1-hour demand zones or one time frame buy setups, I think that's totally fine. Okay. It's been in our analysis playbook for the last couple of weeks. Continue trading with these lower time frame trends, but the swing traders are waiting still on the side, waiting for the evidence, the confirmation. Okay. USDCAD, this was Friday's level. That was a really nice 4-hour zone. I'm not sure if anybody caught some shorts or longs into that area of 4-hour demand, but that's a brilliant 4-hour demand zone. Very strong move to the upside. Okay. That's definitely what I like to see right there. So I think that's still fine if you see any buying opportunities in there. I don't really like any supply. Like all this is crap to me. It's just basing, grinding down. I think you might have some little areas of 4-hour supply in there and up there. But till then, this is also daily, if I recall. So if we go to the daily, yeah. So it's also daily 4-hour demand. So we're seeing this dollar, we're seeing the same level stack up. Okay. USD Swiss. All right. It's inside daily, like right here. Our analysis has been kind of the weekly, but if you want to use the daily, that's totally fine. We pop to the weekly. We could use the daily. It's fine. We were combining this whole area as like a monthly, weekly supply. But for any day traders that want to use this as a daily, I think that's totally fine as well. It's a really nice imbalance to the downside. A lot of sellers came in here. We're kind of hoping that the sellers will potentially step in again, but you're waiting for the confirmation, 1-hour time frame. Okay. Waiting for on this 1-hour time frame, you're obviously going to see trend like this, right? So we need to see the confirmation, breaking upward trend lines, removing these opposing pivot point zones on the 1-hour, and then hopefully some quality zones get created and we can start selling this thing down. Till then, we have to wait because this thing has been in a pretty heavy uptrend for the last like 2 months. Do you guys understand what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we look at the 1-hour.
So you'd still look to go short there on the day on the daily sort of 1 hour, even though it's on that with that upward momentum.
Yeah, it's going to be like counter trend short.
Yeah,
if you're using the daily, but if you're using kind of the weekly outlook, it's in a downtrend. So weekly's down, daily. Even if you look at the weekly, like that weekly's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like the last like 9, 10 weeks, it's been black candlesticks to the upside. So that's why I really want to see that evidence, sellers coming in, and the earliest stage is going to be 1-hour time frame. I don't really. We got this gap happening right now, but this is 1-hour time frame. It would have to be like that, right? Which is nice. You got this gap. pro gap gapping down after prices have been rallying up so much. We got to wait for this to close out. And then that would be kind of the supply zone. I can see that as a little less, has definitely smaller risk on something like this. Kind of just generally how I see this market right now. Do you guys see this at all or no?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we break out, price pulls back, kind of reacting off of this old resistance, right? Takes off to the upside. And now we're pulling back into that support, right? So that's why I'm a little hesitant on a short like that. Like that's the earliest sign of confirmation. And it reminds me of the USD yen, right? The USD yen, we were saying it's like the earliest sign of confirmation, smaller risk on something like this. It's kind of like honestly almost the same play. It honestly looks exactly the same to some extent. All right, then we kind of had this. We broke above it, broke below, rally base, rally up, right? Came back down, testing the support, right? And then there was that supply zone that I mentioned. I like for like small risk, quick, right? That's kind of that's kind of my that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's what we are going to see on that USD Swiss, right? And see how prices just touched it and dropped. Right? Still, it's a very tight zone, which is what you would want to play. You wouldn't want to be playing a wide base at all. Very tight. And so that's kind of what I see the same thing. Was it USD Swiss? Yeah. With USD Swiss 1 hour time frame. You see what I mean? There's that gap, a very tight zone. So if we can get the momentum close and all that, small risk, quick trade management. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks exactly like the other one we just looked at. And that support just like scares me a little bit. So that's why I'm saying small risk, quick trade management, or no trade at all. It really looks like USD yen that we just looked at. Okay, USD Singapore. Yeah, so right now I like this uptrend. So for people using the daily, I like those one time frame buy setups until we can hit that daily supply up here. Really good in balance. And then for any, this is also like just a giant support right here. So it's going to have like demand / support. If you guys kind of see this, that was kind of resistance across the line, right? So just a general area for resistance, support area / demand, pullback, breakout, retest area is what people will see it as. Okay. So if we can continue to the upside from here, I like it for one time frame buys. I think that's fine. Or wait for the pullback back into that area for buying opportunities. Do you guys understand my thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Okay. USD Mexican, we'll skim over this one really quick, but the last area of demand I really liked was that daily confirmation trade setup. That was my favorite. Now I think we have prices reacting. We could still leave that out. Like we have a new area of daily demand here, but I would just leave it. You could just draw them out like that. That's fine. I think we have a little area of daily rally-based rally in there as well. So if you like that area, I think it's fine. Keep an eye on 1 hour time frame if you trade the Mexican and look for buying opportunities. There were people messaging me on social media talking about USD ZAR, South African rand.
Yep, I've got that on mine.
Yeah, was it? I don't know. Everybody's coming to me with the ZAR. Nobody ever comes with me to the ZAR. And all of a sudden,
I am a South African, so there you go.
Okay, so weekly, it's kind of sideways. That's my weekly demand. That's my weekly supply. And also we got weekly demand in there as well. Now, the original analysis with this is uptrend, higher high, higher low. So we had that momentum line. We had this area of demand. I like that. I think it's great for looking for buying opportunities. Held out for some time, dropped, end up removing it. All right. So then we eventually created this new area of weekly supply, which was then eventually removed. So I still see this just in general. It's a very bullish market, short-term sideways. because we have removed demand and the supply, and we have broken upward momentum. So we are in a sideways market short term, but I think there's definite pressure to the upside. So that's why I'm saying uptrend / sideways. I think it's okay to either look for multiple time frame shorts up in here or multiple time frame buys in here for the multiple time frame setup. But because we are trading with this higher time frame being in a general uptrend, one time frame setups going down to like a 4-hour time frame is totally fine. And then there's this 4-hour lower low, lower high like this as their one time frame buy setup. I think that's fine as well. Okay, this at least, broke down. We know the higher time frame analysis, at least here on the 4-hour, we broke this short-term momentum. We've removed this pivot point area of supply. We have strong imbalance to the upside. It's something I like. Do you guys understand my analysis on this?
Yeah, no, I've got the same one there, Austin. It's just the spread is terrible.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. We're going to run into the spread issues with this. It's the same thing we were talking about. You'll have less problems with the ZAR, but you're going to run into problems. HKD, the spread and the commissions are going to be high. That's why you're probably not going to trade it. That's why I don't trade it. It's way too much volatility, larger spread. I don't really recommend it, but that is a proper top-down analysis. And it's the same thing with like the USD Hong Kong. We were talking about this. It's just a very nice area of supply / resistance up there. We love it. And then we had this higher high, this overextended market, rally base, rally base, rally base, rally base, rally. So definitely in an overextended market right there. And we are looking for that snapback approach, right? This is just a trade that you're just not going to end up taking because the Hong Kong, the spread's extremely wide. And I wouldn't trust it with a 10. I wouldn't even touch it with a 10-foot pole, So it's just one of those markets. It's fun to look at, but personally, it's not for me. Okay. You guys have any questions on that, ZAR, or anything? You guys good?
No, but I mean, on that Hong Kong with that supply going back to the left, that must be artificial. It's just crazy that.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I have paid zero attention to what's going on in this Hong Kong. Obviously manipulated. I don't know. It might be pegged so it can't go this. I have no idea. I do zero research into this. Sorry. Into this one. But hey, if I'm playing the charts, that's what I see. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Let's look at the yens really quickly. These are all going to be somewhat the same, so we'll kind of skim over on them unless you guys have something on your watch list. So like euro yen, uptrend, weekly, one time frame buys, 4-hour or 2 hours, fine. For day trade shorts, you know what? I gotta respect these little 4-hour zones. Nice little 4-hour zones for day trades. These aren't things like I wouldn't want to sell a 4-hour zone with that being my chart analysis. Just this thing nonstop up. I wouldn't want to be trying to sell this thing, hoping it's going down. Okay. But hey, I think it is good for some day trade shorts. I think that's cool. Okay. And as for longs, I mean, that has been holding multiple times. I think you got the next fresh demand not till down there. Those are for day trades, of course. New Zealand yen, nothing too interesting. Skip that. And that's fine. If you guys don't see anything, don't force yourself to look at the market, right? I think there was like Euro New Zealand was jumping out on the daily. Yeah. So my analysis from like last week was, let's just do this, like kind of resistance. Then we have this rally-based rally breakout, right? And then we're calling this as support / demand, this whole area. I think it's great. I like it as a technical buy. You also have support and resistance, demand, maybe a little bit of a breakout retest area. I think it's good for areas of buying opportunities. I think probably this bottom half as well, where prices really started that push to the upside. If I delete this, you'll see it a little bit better. These two areas where it's at, I like it. But we definitely have the sellers coming in, trying it. So we looked at the 4 hour, different analysis now, right? Different time frame sequences and all that. For breakouts, I mean, crap, I really like this area for 4 hour supply. I mean, if this is your 4 hour time frame, this is your higher time frame, this is what you're playing in. You like this downtrend, right, John? Or anybody?
Yeah.
You kind of got this in the downtrend. You're below the 200 moving average. We have this 4 hour supply right here, which is nice. Also kind of like support at the time. Okay, and we kind of broke it, so it's going to be like a breakout retest, supply plus resistance now. Yeah, I think those are great areas to be looking for shorts for day trades. Now, it's not something, the last time I was talking about taking trades like this was the Bitcoin. That trend, we're looking at the daily, if you recall, it's in a pretty heavy uptrend, right? Versus, like, we weren't sitting inside higher time frame supply. At least here on Bitcoin, let me just stretch this out. The first time we came up into this area of weekly supply, very nice. Drop, base, drop. Very strong and balanced to the downside. That's something I really like. All right, we also have this resistance line. It was old support. This is a big level for the Bitcoiners. This has been on everybody's charts for quite a while. People were using this as a really good support / demand. I liked it. We broke through it. So this is what it was. It was resistance, drop base, drop supply, also a flip zone. We could call this a flip zone because it is a supply zone that is a drop base drop that kind of broke through. So it's a really nice area. I like it. Came up, tested once. And we came up, tested twice. Two great areas for selling opportunities, okay? And these areas that I've highlighted are going to remain as our weekly demand zones. We're in a weekly uptrend, right? That's why I like looking for buys ever since we've been down in here in this weekly demand. But since we were up in that weekly supply, I was always bearish this for looking for selling opportunities. We are going down to the 4 hour time frame. This is just how price turns from inside out, right? We were rallying up. We had this demand. It was going in a sideways market. And then at the time, I was saying for day trades, hey, if it's in a sideways range, great. Buy low, sell high, right? That's what we like. This was the first short that we liked as like the confirmation short as a potential area. Worked out for a little bit, but overall stayed in this range, okay? This was the breakout because we have price inside the higher time frame weekly supply, also resistance. And then we kind of broke out of this, finally, this 4 hour range that's been going on for quite some time, right? This was the 4 hour breakout right here. I could even go down to a 1 hour. You'll see it a lot better. Drop base, drop supply, breakout retest, whatever you want to call it. It's also going to be new resistance now for this support line that was old support. Now it's going to become resistance, right? So that's why I like that as a swing short, because of we actually have price inside a weekly area of supply versus those other ones. EURNZD, was it? We don't have that, right? It's still it's like the opposite, right? We actually have reason to why we'd want to get long, right? So for day trades, I understand why you might use this for a swing, not a swing short, for day trade shorts. I get that. For longs, I like the confirmation. I'm still bullish to this, but you're still waiting. You guys understand that? Or not?
Yeah.
John? Oh,
Yep,
John, that
yep.
was you. Archer, RJ, you guys good? I'm not losing you?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys are looking at that before we go into commodities?
No, that's all I got marked out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so USDCAD, this is going to remain as our weekly demand as well, right? Weekly demand, swing trades, got to be waiting. If there is anything, CAD Swiss, let's see. Yeah, like uptrend. I like it for day trade longs. For any like CAD Swiss trades, like it doesn't matter the market. Just we're looking for these very strong imbalances to the downside, right? So we have little supply zones like that. Obviously, any shorts in here are going to be counter trend. But till then, you know, I think selling in those areas are fine, but buying is also fine because you're in an uptrend. I think that's fine. But those are areas of interest for selling. Okay. And obviously we got, you know, demand zones on the way up. But since you're trading with the 4-hour trend in an uptrend, I think one time frame shorts are also valid. Okay, so let's continue. We can look at gold. Gold. Sure. Gold, if I'm looking at this, okay, so kind of my analysis for this week, this is last week's high. We are never, the week prior, like we were never able to break above this high. This is last week's high, and we never broke above it on Friday. So that is still kind of that resistance area. That's kind of a big level. Like that's the weekly high that we still haven't broke. So if we actually get above this, I primarily, if I'm looking at gold, silver, NASDAQ, US 500, like the S&P, whatever, I'm looking at this for the daily, right? Like not the daily time frame, but like I'm looking for like day trade and stuff like that. The way that I'll be playing this, besides this being like a very bearish sign, it's a huge rejection. And I'm sure if we pop on our other indicators, like I wonder if this would be our wick setup. ATR. Yeah, so ATR equals 5.6. This, I don't know if it just cleared the ATR. Let's see. No, so it's not above the ATR, but it's blowing right through the top of the Bollinger Band. The stochastic is completely overbought. It is a very bullish, a bearish candlestick. So I would potentially see this as it is a bearish sign. We were unable to break above last week's high as well. So not with the strong close or anything. So I will kind of remain bearish this for the first couple days until we probably hit this area on like a 1 hour time frame is where it's going to be 1 hour demand. But if we manage to break above it, I'm really going to try aggressively buying this thing until we kind of hit probably this area up here on like a 1 hour time frame. So we'll see this. Yeah. So we go down to the 1 hour time frame, and you're interested in playing this 5 minute, 1 minute time frame. So yeah, we got a really nice 1 hour demand zone in here. The last area that I really liked for selling was this area over here. That was a really nice 1 hour drop base drop. I like that. Very strong and balanced, removed demand. Held up for a little bit, maybe for some quick day trades, scalps and something like that. But overall, it definitely underperformed to how I would like. Okay, sure, there was a little opposing zone like right here that would be a big headache to get through. How prices rally, base rally. It's just cutting the profit margin, so it's going to be stuck in that range. But still, that's going to be my demand zone. That's a demand I really like. Really like that. It's a very strong push to the upside. I like this for buying opportunities down in here. But if we can break above these highs of these weekly highs from last week, then I definitely will like this for buying opportunities. Do you guys understand that analysis?
Yep.
It's a little bit different, but I'm really more so interested in playing smaller time frames on this and kind of momentum plays. And so if we look at, I don't know, US 500. Yeah, last week, you know, I was on the charts. I was on the charts. The problem was, let me delete this. I don't like trading the first 5 minutes. Some people will disagree, saying that's the best time, but it's so volatile. And there was a really good 1 minute trade setup. Was it 1 minute? No, it was the US 100. That's what it was. Yeah, it was this. It was right when the market opened. And so I thought I saw this as a really good zone. I was kind of hoping prices would pull back a little bit later, like after 2-3 minutes into the open. But it pulled back like 1 minute into the open. I was like, just like I could see some funny business price wicking above it, then like instantly reversing or something like that. So I didn't want to play something like this, but just a really good 1 minute imbalance that was created 5 minutes before the open. And then as it opened up, yeah, right here, 1 minute into the open, then it started pulling into it. So that's something I really liked, but it was a little bit aggressive. It just the time didn't work out. So I'm definitely biting myself in the bum for that one. So hopefully that's what I'm kind of waiting for these. I'm going to play kind of momentum when it comes to this. Areas that I like I don't like any of this for demand. When I was looking for this thing to sell off, there wasn't much areas that I saw prices potentially holding into. It was maybe this area that I could see potentially buyers trying to hold, but it just obliterated it completely. So till then, areas that I like for selling in, I like up in here, pinpointing the extreme for 30 minute. And yeah, I like the sell off from up there as well. So it's going to remain. And actually, I think there's a hidden zone. Yeah, that's the zone I actually like the most. A hidden zone, how these candlesticks, these two strong and balanced candlesticks overlap one another right there. It's not like just imbalance after imbalance. There's at least some type of overlap. The last one I see, I don't really see it here with this one. I wouldn't really like that as an overlap. Let me just delete these. Yeah, usually these overlaps are good too. I don't really like that, but something like this where you get two imbalanced candlesticks where they at least the wicks overlap one another, right? And they can usually hold pretty well when you get that pullback back into that area. This, I'm trying to think, I saw one where it's not. Anyways, I'm going to start scanning for these nonstop then. So those are areas that I like looking for shorts in, if we can actually manage to get a pullback up into. First one will be here, and then all the way up there. But hey, if we break through it, then I'll continue looking for buys. But while we're sitting inside those areas, I'm going to see if I can watch the live price and see if sellers are trying to step in. Till then, I don't really like anything for 4-hour time frame. I like this. I like that.
So why this is a supply zone? Because there is no basing candle there. There is no 50% candle there.
I understand that. That's why we call it a hidden zone. It's when these two candlesticks are overlapping. It's not something, and it's something I avoid talking about on my YouTube or sharing with people. We talk about it in the group, but because it goes over people's head early on. People don't fully understand it, but there's certain times to play areas of interest like that. And they are areas usually they are smaller time frame zones. That's usually what they are. Maybe you have someone here. Ideally, I would like that leg out candlestick that appears a little bit higher. But yeah, maybe somewhere in there might be one. And that's the only one that jumps out to me. Maybe in here. Maybe in there. That's really it. Are you guys looking at what's that?
So, sir, initially, should we avoid this? Let's say I'm beginning of my journey. I'm at the very beginning of the journey.
I recommend avoiding them early on.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's something that you'll pick up over time. You'll kind of notice. But you'll pick that up over time. You'll see how these zones price reacts off these certain areas. Oil, really quickly before we end it. This is going to be my daily. This was our old daily zone. It's also like a weekly. If we look at the weekly. Yeah, so it's like this whole weekly area. Let me just delete this. So we got the whole weekly area of supply. Definitely, it's in a heavy uptrend. This is why I don't like trading. For me, counter trends are just a lot lower quality. So I don't like doing it. But if you are trading counter trend, you have to wait for the confirmation. Day trade longs are totally fine. You guys know I've been preaching this. Continue buying day trades longs as long as there's their setup, but don't counter trend short this without any evidence of sellers stepping in. And we look here, if we're using kind of the daily, weekly as our higher time frame, we got to be looking at the 4 hour, 1 hour for confirmation. And 4 hour time frame, there's nothing. We got nothing for any evidence, just nonstop higher highs and higher lows. 1 hour time frame, there's nothing. There's been zero evidence of sellers stepping in. We haven't removed any pivot point. Just continues to make higher highs and higher lows. We would never. Some people might look at this and say that okay, but aggressive, very aggressive. Then you would have to go down to like a 30-minute or 15-minute for the entry. And to be honest, I just don't really like that. I don't see any good zone to be shorting at. This would obviously have to be it because this is where the seller stepped in. Like the top half would have to be that, right? But I wasn't a fan of that. It's just too low of a time frame. I get it if people wanted to play it, but it's not something that I would actually recommend. We talked about this exact time when it was selling off as well. Nice and balanced. We're moving zones, but going daily 15, it's a little bit aggressive for me. Okay, so that's why I'm saying at least look for the 1 hour, right? So right now, we've got this uptrend. I like one-time frame buys. I like looking for buy day trades, but till then, this is kind of what you got to see. You got to see the sellers come in. Come on. Like that. Is there any questions that you guys have? Any analysis or anything that you guys could think of? Well, you're going to learn this over time, whether or not it's a good idea to be trading in a tested zone. Personally, I don't recommend trading in tested zones when it comes to your higher time frame. Our lower, let me say this, our lower time frame, like our entry, 100% has to be fresh. We never trade tested entry time frame zones. Okay? When it comes to our higher time frame, you can trade tested zones, but when it's like you're trading counter trend, I don't recommend trading a counter trend tested zone. You understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But you know that also will go into your analysis saying, okay, like if it is counter trend and it is tested, you probably shouldn't be trading it. But let's say the trend's in an uptrend or sideways and it's tested. Well, then maybe you want to consider either no trade, or you want to consider, yes, I will trade, but I will consider smaller risk, you know?
Okay.
Or I want to make sure my lower time frame is a really good quality zone, right? But obviously, keep in mind, like, if you see the market going like this nonstop, don't think, oh, well, it's tested, I can't trade it. I mean, crap, if it's holding 10, 20 times, then obviously use it as supply, right?
Yes. How many times it can be tested if we trade it? This thing, right, sir?
I don't recommend trading zones tested more than twice.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah, they're valid questions. They are valid questions.
Yes.
Okay, then I don't think Jam Laveau's here, but Jam Laveau, if you're listening to this, we got, you sent me your 30 trades, you sent me the stats, and we will do our one-on-one this week. Do you guys have any other questions, concerns, analysis?
No, sir. I'm good. That's
you guys are good? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's just you and I anyways now. All right.
Yes,
we'll end it here. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.